Dear viewers, I have never written a script or a screenplay before, but having watched every episode of Batwoman so far, I feel like I could teach a writing class to the Batwoman writers. Things seem to happen in the show just because they need to, with nary a thought about how or why. Let's jump right into the episode, shall we?
Listen, the victim had the courage to come forward and face her attackers. Well, I'm confident the jury will make the right decision. Question is, are you?
How do you get to kill? The truth is alive and well. It's underground, living on the Wi-Fi still. Don't buy all the lies they sell. When the Black Hawk flies, I run to the hill. In the back of my head, called it suicide.
God.
Balls in my hands from the dead, I was crucified.
No.
You decide if you wanna ride, it's not the one you wanna fight.
Oh, God.
First of all, where is this scene taking place? It's some kind of secure facility somewhere, probably the prison. There's clearly fencing around it. Secondly, why is this power pole so close to the building? Thirdly, how did the pole just fall over? Was it not anchored into the ground? There's no sound effects of chopping wood or the pole breaking or anything like that. It just falls over because I guess that's what's written in the script. The executioner Hulk smashes the fire hydrant, and Albert Einstein here immediately runs towards the fence. That's the direction he was just coming from, and he certainly didn't have to scale the fence to get in. Why didn't he go out the same way he came in? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Man, thank goodness Cobra Commander is completely fine after getting stabbed in the gut in the previous episode. But as hard as the good commander is, I guess he's had worse hangovers. Kate is bitching about not spending every waking second looking for tiny pre-frumpy frumps. And as is customary, we get more bad dialogue.
Beth was held in a cell by a guy making human skin masks while I was at home playing club soccer. We need to find him.
We will.
We didn't find her.
How many times can I say I'm sorry for not listening to you?
I don't know. How many times will it take to get Beth back?
And Cobra Commander is pissed about GCPD's fresh new virtue signal.
Tell me why every news outlet in Gotham had this and we didn't even get so much as a heads up from the GCPD?
Technically, it's outside district lines.
And I believe it's because they called someone else.
Meanwhile, Frumps McGurk is making a skin mask for Pleatherface. The subject of the mask is one of the guys working on Asian Trophy Wife's secret weapon that Frumps has been trying to get her hands on for the past couple episodes. It's a reused plot device from episode 3, only this time it's a coil gun instead of a rail gun, but it can get through the batsuit, and that's the most important thing. And this is pretty much all she does in the episode as well.
Something so delicate harnessing enough power to penetrate the batsuit.
Both the Crows and Bat Pronoun think they have a suspect for who the executioner is, and coincidentally, the GCPD has tracked him down to a building where he claims to have hostages. It's some guy they call the Fist. I guess he must have been popular in prison with that nickname. Cobra Commander says fuck jurisdiction, and they show up on the scene. Detective Dumbass says that he and Fist go way back, and I have to question that, since their voices sound completely different.
You only speak to one guy, a Detective Donnelly.
Who?
Detective Donnelly, time is running out on your hostages. Get in here or I start
Listen.
shooting these people.
You don't have to go in there. Let me get a negotiator down here.
Nah, I mean the Fist go way back.
The Fist did not see it that way. Check out his sentencing.
I'll get you, you son of a bitch. This ain't over. I got a whole bunch of time to figure out. I'm gonna kill your ass.
Bat Pronoun and Agent Alphabet easily get inside. I guess GCPD just sat around on their thumbs for however long they've been there, instead of actually checking the building, see if there's any other ways to get inside, or, see what else is going on. And wouldn't you know it,
It's a trick.
despite clearly not knowing the situation and being warned, Detective Dumbass just runs right through the door and gets lit the fuck up like a Christmas tree. Agent Alphabet gets hit. And before passing out, she calls Bat pronoun Kate. And Bat pronoun decides to take her to Asian socialite Barbie's bum clinic. Asian socialite Barbie asks the blindingly obvious question why she didn't take her to a real hospital.
What was she shot with?
A bullet.
I know it's a bullet. I mean, hollow point, black hour, why cut her?
Doesn't matter.
Why did you bring her here? She can afford a real hospital.
You were closer, and I need you to keep her here until I get back. Crows don't know she's missing.
I guess any med student working out of an old abandoned shack can treat a bullet wound. It's not really any different than treating meth addicts with hepatitis, after all, right? Back at the Batcave, Bat pronoun and the soy boy Blunder come to the conclusion that the executioner is using execution methods of killing people. That's another case cracked by the world's most average gumshoe.
Gotham's used 3 ways to kill people on death row. Electric chair, firing squad, which made a brief comeback under Mayor Cobblepot, and the gas chamber.
So his next victim will be with gas.
The guy's got a flair for detail, so I bet you a batarang he'll use hydrogen cyanide pellets just like they did in the gas chamber. And there's only one warehouse in Gotham that stores them.
While Bat pronoun is looking for the gas pellets, the Crows take down the Fist, who is obviously the executioner, except...
Well, I guess a lot of people will be sleeping easier tonight.
I know you wanted to catch him, but you can convince the Crows you're not the enemy tomorrow.
Tomorrow may be too late. I need to check on Sophie.
Okay, there is clearly a vehicle of some sort screaming towards her at high speed. What other outcome could she have possibly expected here? Did she think it was a really tenacious Amazon Prime delivery driver coming to drop off her new bad dragon? Back at the Batcave, they track down the executioner by reading an impression of a partial license plate number from the Batsuit. And yes, he drove his personal vehicle to the scene of a crime. And the executioner was literally an executioner for 20 years at Blackgate Prison. Bat pronoun goes to the executioner's house and finds the thermos that the gas pellets were stored in.
The hydrogen cyanide pellets, I found them.
On the coffee table?
Yes.
Well, it's probably a trap.
I'm aware, but I don't see any trip sensors or wires or pressure plates. What's the Bat protocol with this? Well, I can't just stand here staring at this thing waiting for the executioner to come back. Come on.
Yeah, okay. Hang on.
Can you play some hold music while I wait? No, okay, I'm just gonna grab it.
No, don't do that.
Kate, don't.
Too late.
And what if he was able to figure out something for her to do? Wouldn't that have been bat-splaining? The executioner confesses to what he's been doing. He's been going after these dirty law enforcement officials because they were framing innocent people. Defenders of the show, hopefully a very small number, might be quick to point out, well, maybe the executioner wanted to be found. That's why he took his own truck to the crime scene and why he left a confession. And I say unto you, enough of your bovine scatology. This guy is not done dropping bodies. You don't take a chance of someone interrupting you before you can finish inspiring a possible Netflix miniseries. Wait until your to-do list is all crossed off and then update your Facebook status to serial murderer. Bat pronoun frees the Fist and hurls a batarang with a confession taped to it at Cobra Commander. I'm sure they will have him again soon, though. This is the guy who told an entire courtroom he was going to plan a murder while he was in prison, after all. I have to show you these clips from the show themselves. In whole. No one would believe me otherwise. By the way, now is probably a good time to pause the video and put on some oven mitts. Go ahead. I'll wait for you.
Innocent people to die.
Heard you got a visit from Batwoman.
More like an ambush. Now one nut job wants me to listen to another nut job. Claims Judge Calveric, one of Gotham's most upstanding justices, is a fraud.
So you're not even gonna look into this, Judge?
Why? Because some social justice warrior thinks he knows more about the rule of law than the cops and the lawyers who protect this city? No.
Bat pronoun goes to the courthouse to get the crooked judge. The executioner has somehow set a trap for him, and the bad scene for the episode happens. I will say this fight scene is a whole lot more realistic than how they usually go. The executioner pretty much makes Bat pronoun his bitch. That is until Daddy shows up and shoots him.
heart rate monitor linked to a dead man switch.
Looks like we're about to join him.
Okay. Hydrogen cyanide. Emphasis on hydrogen. It's flammable. Think the Hindenburg.
Not a comforting thought.
The point is, you can ignite it. The flames will burn off the cyanide. Only problem is, hydrogen will only burn at 6% saturation.
No. That is definitely not the only problem. See, in order for the gas to be burned off, the flames need oxygen. If you set off an explosion in a room full of gas, you're probably going to get your lungs flash fried. But if you manage to survive that, you probably burned up your oxygen supply as well. But it doesn't really matter because they're perfectly fine. And Agent Alphabet escapes the bum clinic, with or without hepatitis. The episode doesn't specifically say. Maybe that will be explored later on in the show. Bat Pronoun and Cobra Commander have a reconciliation of sorts, and Frumps McGurk and Pleatherface continue to be insufferable. With that, another episode comes to its end. And while last week's episode was a steaming turd, it was like a steaming turd in the middle of the sidewalk. It's unpleasant, you never want to see something like that again, but really you can just step over it and be on your way. This week's episode is a steaming turd in the middle of your living room floor while you're home alone and all the doors are locked. Not only does it stink up your house, but you're left confused about what it is you are actually witnessing. And have fun with that mental image. I will see you next week.